Hey everybody, Swish here, and glad to have you here. But wanted to come at you with a different video, something that I just was debating on wanting to talk about this because it doesn't really have too much to do with my channel, but I think the concept does. So I'm just going to go with it, and you guys take it for what you will. As some of you have probably seen in my other videos, I am, of course, a devout Catholic. I'm a new convert. I've been in the church under 2 years, about a year and a half. And as some of you, or most of you, if not all, know, last week the church got a new pope. Pope Francis passed away, and we got a new pope, an American pope that I don't think anybody saw coming, at least in me. And I wanted to say something about it initially, but I stepped back and just kind of let all the internet dossiers, if you will, or gurus or whatever, give their opinions. Because I do follow a lot of Catholic YouTubers and just enjoy watching their videos, what they have to say. And everyone was like, my thoughts, my thoughts, my thoughts, my thoughts. But for me, this being my first conclave, my first time ever seeing this happen, I was totally enamored by watching a divine moment happen. Watching the keys being passed down, the keys that Christ himself gave to Peter. That for me I was completely in awe of that. And it just solidified my faith even more that Christ promised that the gates of hell would not prevail against his church. The Catholic Church has stood for 20 centuries, since 33 AD. No other church can make that claim. Now, I'm not here to debate on the true church. I'm sure most of you know what I believe the true church is. And I'm not here to tell you I'm right and you're wrong. That's not the purpose of this video. But I came into the church when Pope Francis was still sitting in the chair of Peter. And a lot of controversy there, a lot of things, Pope Francis was the first pope. When he came into office, social media was in its infancy. And during his reign, his pontificate, social media just grew like wildfire. And he was under scrutiny for pretty much everything he said. And now you have Pope Leo XIV, who has been elected a new pope at, social media is now in full stream. He even commented a little bit of it about AI combating that, and a little bit. That's what I took. I could be wrong, but it seemed to me like he wasn't too keen on AI, which is good. I think he's going to be a great pope. But a lot of people asked me, what are my thoughts on it? People who are, in my circle, if you will. And what were my thoughts on Pope Francis prior to all of this? And I'm going to respond, and this is where I'm kind of getting at why I think this kind of could relate. And I'll kind of touch on it a little bit. I'm going to respond with something that a good friend of mine once told me when I was first considering the church and asked him the same question. His answer was great. It was brilliant. And he said this, which is the title of the video. You're given the shepherds that you deserve. That's the first time anybody ever said that to me in that way. So what does this have to do with my channel and things? Well, it's an outdoor survival channel. We talk about prepping and da-da-da-da. And this, because of my faith, has got me thinking. When people say, how did we get here? We got there. We got where we were, or where we are now, not because of who sits in an office, but because of our actions. And that's what it's making me think about. So when it comes to the church, in my case, so take this what you will with whatever it is you're going through, whether it be dealing with political or anything like that. You really can't change other people, and the only person you can change it is yourself. The only person you can work on is yourself. You can try and influence other people, but at the end of the day, they have the free will to decide whatever they want to do. And I think the best thing to do is just be an example. Live that example as best as you know how. Are you going to mess up? Yeah. But that's just part of being human, messing up. Get back up and keep going and be that example. I think everybody should take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, myself included, and examine your conscience and say, what kind of change can I make? It starts with our actions. It starts with us. And the idea that I think in any society, and even in the church that I've seen, that's why I'm bringing this up, we as a human race have this kind of mentality of saying, but if we had someone sitting in said office, everything would be fixed. Or we have somebody bad in that office, therefore nothing is going to get done. And I disagree with that mentality. And I'll give you an example. And again, I'm going back to the church. I attend the traditional Latin Mass versus the Novus Ordo Mass. If you guys don't know what that is, go look it up. What's the difference? There's a huge debate in the church about it. I personally don't care. I just love the Latin Mass. The Novus Ordo is a valid Mass. But it was the Latin Mass that converted me, along with my good friend who showed me the truth. So everyone was freaking out when Pope Francis was in. The Latin Mass is going to go away. We're going to lose the Mass of the Ages, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, we still got it. And how did that happen? Because we just continued to remain faithful. That's how it happened. Rather than saying, but if we had a pope who was in the chair, this would be taken care of. Instead, we need to say, I need to be the best Catholic I can be. And be faithful and stay in the church. How does that affect people who might be watching this who aren't Catholic? Maybe you're looking at secular government. The same concept applies. You think that leader, whoever the leader is in whatever country you're in, maybe it might be a bad leader. Instead of saying, well, if we had a good leader, everything would work itself out. Say to yourself, how can I work out my situation the best way that I know how? I think if everybody had that mentality, the people would produce good leaders. I look in the Old Testament and I see what happened when bad kings would ascend the throne of Israel. And it wasn't just because for no reason. It was because the people were not doing what they were supposed to do. They were in rebellion. They were weak. And so God allowed bad kings. He allowed invading armies. I think there's something to be said about that. Now, for those of you who might not even be Christian or Catholic, you're thinking, well, how does this apply to me? I think that concept can apply to you. Examine yourself instead of looking to the higher ups or whatever and thinking, well, they're going to solve my problems. I'm telling you, they're not going to solve your problems. I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. Donald Trump can't fix my house or my community. He's just one man. Pope Leo the 14th. Well, I guess he could fix my diocese or whatever, but I don't think my diocese needs anything wrong with it. I'm just speaking, hypothetically. Pope Leo can't fix my life at the moment. He's not going to come to my house and go, okay, Clinton, I'm gonna bless you and fix your life. He could, but let's be real, it's not going to happen. So I have to. Now, does that mean that we can't, go to our leaders and go to, whoever for support? No, of course we could. But that's the next thing. Who are your support channels? Who are you going to? Choose carefully. Going back to the church, I've had people accuse me of saying, you've joined a religion of pedophiles. Well, okay, that's not true. I don't care what system you are a part of, you are going to have Judases no matter what. You're going to have evil people. We live in a fallen world run by humans who are flawed. That includes the church, okay? It does. So that means that I need to be more cognizant. And I am blessed with 3 parish priests who, truth be told, I would trust all of them alone with my children. But that's because I've done my research. That's because I've gotten to know them, I wouldn't just say, oh, I don't know you, but I'm gonna leave my children with you. You get to know them first. That goes with anybody. I don't care who it is. Now I know that I'm kind of getting a little off topic. So before someone in the comments goes, oh, but someone hurt my child and I knew them. Well, that does happen, but okay, keep a closer eye on your kids. I guess I don't know what to tell you. It does happen, but we can't just not trust anybody. That's a little aside. And I digress. Sorry. But all of these things I've just been thinking about, and I don't have anything scripted. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, hoping that I'm making sense. If I'm not, comment below saying you don't know what you're talking about. And yes, it has a lot to do with my faith, but I like to live out my faith. And yes, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Yes, you are going to see that through my channel. So if you don't like it, that's cool. I understand. And if you don't like it, and if you disagree with my faith, cool. We can still be friends too. If you're interested, hey, ask. That's just a little side there too. But anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm glad to have a good pope, and I hope he reigns for a long time. I'm going to continue to do the best that I can, as to the best of my ability, to my human abilities allow me to, and lead a good example for others to maybe either follow or, whatever. And but more particularly my wife and my children as best as I can, because I think that's the best way. Actions speak louder than words. So with that being said, hope I didn't bore you guys too long. And for those of you who stuck around to the end of this video, thank you. Habemus Papa. Swish out.